Asked by multiple horsecocks. If you could conduct an experiment, regardless of costs, logistics, or ethics, what would you test? Have a baby human raised by apes, basically to see if Tarzan scenario would occur and the human is able to communicate fully with the apes. Cut to a scene of a human baby beaten and or neglected to death by apes. Athletic competitions with no restrictions on doping. Let's see how fast a human being can really run before their muscles are so strong they literally tear themselves off the bone. Nah, we need a separate doped Olympics. Leave the regular Olympics for baseline. You have to test positive to be in the juiced Olympics. Separate world records for both too. The politicians would now be tested in order to remain in office. Those that fail the test are needing to be replaced by people with actual morals, ethics, wisdom, and intelligence. I'd like this test to include a team building ropes course where all of the members of Congress have to vote in the proper method and agree before moving on to the next objective. It would be televised and they would not be given any food. So, however long it took them to agree on things would determine if they starved to death or not. Also, if they chose wrong, they could fall into a pit of piranhas below. I would love to create small cities and let people move there depending on their worldview. Like one city is ruled by Islam, another city is full of feminist women, one city is communist, etc. I just want to see how those people gonna feel after 10 years of what they dreamt of. Every single person would come to despise it. Echo chambers tend to drift towards extremist views and extremism tends to breed hate from within, unless you are the one making decisions. Dinosaur cloning, what else is there to do? Homie. I want to say yes, but the kitchen raptor scene was my personal nightmare fuel for the majority of the 90s in childhood. I would divide the world's population in groups of, say, 15 million and test various ways to run a society. The goal is to find the best possible way to live in peace and harmony with each other and nature. After a century or so, hopefully one winner would emerge. And then we roll out that type of society to the rest of the globe. This sounds like the plot of a YA novel. Climate alteration on a massive scale. Things like detonating nukes regularly to whip up fallout that blocks the sun for a bit. Building giant canals with nukes, such as one to the middle of Australia to potentially change some of the desert. Heck, let's nuke a volcano just to see what would happen. Could even try nuking a supervolcano just for kicks. Elon Musk actually proposed to just do that over the ice cap of Mars. I would make an actual universal basic income trial. Current UB trials are all time restricted, and, like, that's not what UB is supposed to be. If you give someone money and tell them upfront that it's only for the next 10 years, they will most likely use the money to optimally position themselves to re-enter the job market 10 years down the line. That's not that UB is supposed to be. So I just take a very big randomized sample, group people by their big 5 personality traits and make sure that none of them ever has to worry about basic necessities like food, shelter, electricity, water, internet, healthcare and so on for their entire lives. Would people continue to be productive, or just lay around aimlessly? There's much debate over it, and we still haven't any answers because nobody is willing to make a lifetime study about it. I want to be the first person who walk on the sun, at night of course. Of course. I would study the thought process of username selection. Created my username after reading the Wikipedia page for the Enumclaw horse incident. Sports teams can only play with local players, no money involved whatsoever, then we'll see some fair competition. When I was little, I thought you only played for a team you grew up with, liked and rooted for, because why wouldn't you dart? So it made sense the Yankees were always good since Nick had such a big population and a lot of fans. Where is a clitoris? The elusiveness of such a creature has rarely been documented. I think it's an old elven folktale, if I'm not mistaken. Human gene editing. See what happens if you fix our broken vitamin C genes or add in mantis shrimp vision proteins. Maybe we can fix the second eyelid. Let's find out. Separate triplets at birth. Oh wait. I read it on a thread for this question years and years ago, but I still laugh about it. How many toddlers it would take to kill a grizzly bear? This person had it all thought out. Like kids with numbered shirts and everything. The announcer would call out send out number 1 and a lone kid would go out and attack. Send out number 2 and 2 kids would come out and attack. Repeat this pattern until the grizzly is killed. Absolutely pointless. Gotta be in the thousands, probably tens of thousands, since it would have to get too exhausted to fight back before it really got hurt. I'd be fascinated to explore the possibilities of human consciousness and its interaction with artificial intelligence. Have a group of small apes raised by humans alone like a regular child with no human sibling. I'd love to hear the response from somebody here who works in biotechnology and genetics. I'd want to see how much genetic manipulation and crossbreeding it would take to make a full-sized and tamed chocobo. Hear me out. Cat girls. Raising 2 children in complete isolation. Feed them properly and let them grow. See what way they communicate if no language is taught. Cool idea. Eugenics. TBH. Scientific application of gene therapy to eliminate illness, disease and enhance health, resiliency, intellect. Khan. I would conduct a more severe Stanford experiment. The Stanford Prison Experiment was a psychological study conducted in 1971 by psychologist Philip Zimbardo. It aimed to investigate how individuals would behave when placed in positions of power and submission within a simulated prison environment. Participants were assigned roles as either guards or prisoners and placed in a mock prison setting. However, the experiment quickly spiraled out of control, as the guards began to display abusive behavior towards the prisoners, leading to emotional distress and psychological trauma. The study was halted prematurely due to ethical concerns surrounding the treatment of participants. To me, the Stanford experiment demonstrated that most humans would become corrupted by power, and I would conduct the experiment again without stopping at this time, just to see how far things would go. That already happened. It was called Auschwitz. I would like to conduct a long-term experiment to see if I would enjoy being a billionaire. That is easy. Grab 10,000 women of proven fertility. Next up, treat them all with drugs intended for IVF patients. Harvest their eggs, denucleate them and then transfer in nuclei from cells derived from my bone marrow, or other stem cells. Implant these eggs into this army of fertile women, and with a little bit of luck a few successful clones of me will be born. For decades this has been a thought experiment, as that is what was needed to generate Dolly the sheep, but with 800 surrogate mothers. 1 dolly and 2 messed up wannabes resulted. Also glow-in-the-dark pets for everyone: mice, rabbits, cats, you name it. They have already done it, but ethics and rules prevent selling them. Viable 3D organ printing using something like CRISPR to match and remove defects. I have a shitty pancreas and would love a fresh one. A study on who most people would actually let die in their family when one has to be killed off. Basically the choice of your whole family or one family member. Do people prefer their parents? In that case, which one? Or do they mostly choose siblings?